Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.
All right, it's a really big honor. Rob Mendez is joining us. Coach Rob Mendez is joining us on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. This is amazing.
You guys awesome. Came up from San Diego. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
So you just moved to San Diego. You're originally from San Jose area?
Yep, from up north. I've been in San Jose, San Francisco area for like my whole life. But I just wanted to jump and try something new, and San Diego is beautiful.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times in my life. Although I moved to LA for work, so I don't know if that really counts. But I do know about moving somewhere where it's warmer because I lived in Miami for 10 years. But that's exciting. Nice way to start the new year, 2020.
Definitely.
And so are you coaching now? Are you getting back into coaching? What are you doing with that?
So I'll be applying for a few different jobs down there. Nothing's come of anything yet, but I just hope to land a varsity head coaching job. And I've heard of a few different openings, and I'm just trying to get my name out there, well established, and see what happens. I mean, there's nothing, going to hurt to try for this opportunity. So I've always wanted to live down here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to do fine, and you're going to get whatever you need.
I hope.
That's what's happening.
I appreciate it.
All right. So you are a San Francisco 49ers fan.
Big time. I had to bring the hat.
Yeah, you're in the hat. You got the scarf. Okay. I'm not going to, first of all, I didn't have the San Francisco 49ers making the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
But that's really not entirely fair because we do predictions before the season, and I knew they would be better than last year, but I didn't see this coming.
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm not crazy that I wasn't wild on them before the season started.
I predicted a 10-6, and everyone thought I was crazy for that. Everyone was saying 7-9, maybe 8-8, which was definitely an uplift from last year. But I knew when we shaped our defense this year, Lynch was really persistent on that, and that's a self-made defense right there. He drafted all 4 of those D linemen.
Right.
Plus, we got Quan Alexander coming back this weekend, which is I think are going to be a big help. I remember him in Tampa Bay. So I think as long as we stay healthy. So with Jimmy G going down last year, that was probably the end of our season.
Yeah, I mean, that was the season. Like, if your starting quarterback goes down, you really can't. That's how I feel about the Jets this year. Like, the Jets,
there you go.
like, I can't evaluate the Jets this year. Sam Darnold's out
Mr.
with
Mono.
the kissing disease. So what are you going to do? But they're playing the Vikings, right? And they're 7-point favorites, which I kind of feel like is a lot. Here's the thing about the Vikings. I'm not on the Kirk Cousins bandwagon. And shout out to Kirk Cousins. Like,
really?
He deserves a lot of credit. He puts up with all of our and like we give him all of it, and he can't win the big game, and he's like 0-a on Monday night, and came out and they played well. Their defense was incredible. Dalvin Cook was incredible.
Yeah.
I can't say anything bad about Kirk Cousins' performance.
Yeah.
However, I got to keep it real about the 49ers. While I do think that there's something about them that I'm not fully sold on this year, I mean, the Vikings aren't beating the 49ers, right? I don't have to live through that.
You know what? That's a good number on the spread because I feel like at this time of year, teams are really competitive. Minnesota earned it. Nobody saw them really beating New Orleans yesterday. And I didn't see the team outright winning. I did, I kind of predicted the spread. It was like 8, I think.
Yeah, I took the Vikings with the points. You got to. That's too much.
That was a good number to take. And then I think football, like I was telling you earlier, it's just a game of attitude. And when he went in there, Kirk Cousins was really hungry. He knew he was doubted, and I think that doubt kind of fueled him. So he's going to be doubted again this week against the Niners. But you know what? At the end of the day, the better teams usually are going to win. And I think the Saints possibly could have beat themselves yesterday. And also, I just think it's the time for the Vikings to realize what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, I think you're right. Like, the better team is going to win this game. I just don't see the Vikings going on some amazing, like, miracle playoff run. And maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm insane. But
Everybody likes a Cinderella team, right? But bottom line is the Niners have been proving themselves week in, week out. I mean, that Saints game, even I doubted them. I mean, we finished strong with our offense. And I know our defense has kind of declined a little bit, but we've been banged up. I mean, that game we didn't have – was it Solomon Thomas, I think, was out, and Richard Sherman too. So,
yeah, I mean, you guys have had some crazy injuries, but it just hasn't mattered really. Like, look at where you are. Like, you got a bye week, so pretty early on in the season, or maybe before the season. I don't remember when I said it, but this really felt like the last year for the old guard of quarterbacks of Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. And even though Drew Brees has played out of his mind the last couple of weeks, he was out for 5 weeks, and it kind of feels like, okay, like, what's next for the Saints? I see Drew Brees coming back. I mean, I don't know how you don't, and I don't think that they're going to move on to Teddy, even though Teddy came in and did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Do you think Drew Brees is back next year?
Definitely. I mean, there's no reason for us to not think he's going to come back. He's been playing well. He's been playing at that top tier quarterback level that, everybody expects him to play. I think they still need one more running back. I mean, when Ingram left, the offense was a little bit of a decline, but for the most part, Drew Brees is a leader and he's healthy right now and he's still hungry. So I think Tom and Drew are still coming back.
Okay, so you mentioned Brady. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
So I never bought into the Patriots were done because I've watched this movie too many times. But I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong about it. Like, cool, fine. Like, I'd rather be wrong than be the first to be wrong. Like, I'm okay with how it went down.
Yeah.
But he's not retiring. Like, and there's no way his career's just. It just feels like. And that's just not how Tom Brady's career is going to end. Like, he's either going to come back to the Patriots again or he's going to go somewhere else next year. I personally feel like there's a little bit of a groundswell that he goes to the Chargers, but it feels kind of strange. Like, they're going to replace an old immobile quarterback with an older immobile quarterback.
If you put it that way, it doesn't make sense. But let's be honest, Phillip Rivers compared to Tom Brady, I mean, that's two quarterbacks that have not done it, or one quarterback that hasn't done it. And Tom Brady's done it, what, 5 times? 6 times. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
But, let's keep it real, too. The Patriots, they could have signed me as a receiver, and there wouldn't have been much of a drop-off. So,
the receiving corps was not great this year, and it doesn't seem like they had any plans on fixing that. Like, it wasn't something they didn't know about before the season started.
They didn't do much. I mean, I got to be honest. When the season first started, I was even doubting the personnel for it. I just think that as long as you surround any quarterback with good players around them, they have an opportunity. And especially with Tom Brady's experience in the playoffs, I feel like he still's got one more Super Bowl left in him. So maybe that's just me being a fan of his career. And the one reason, let me clarify this too. I'm not a Patriots fan. Everyone thinks I'm a Patriots fan. All right, I'm not. I'm not condoning cheating, which I feel like sometimes they try for that, things like that. But the one thing I can relate to Tom Brady is that his passion for football.
Yeah.
So nobody loves football more than him on that football field. Nobody wants to win more than that. And usually with that hunger, it's really inexplainable. But Tom Brady has taught me to really be passionate about life, and also with football. I've grown up around it. So
right.
That's the main reason why I'm a Tom Brady fan, not a Patriots fan.
All right. So other big news this week: the Cowboys have hired Mike McCarthy, which we were also talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. The hire kind of surprised me because he doesn't really feel like a fit there. I don't know who I actually expected them to keep Jason Garrett, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Really?
I thought they were going to keep him. Yes. But I think Jerry finally got pushed. I think Jerry wanted to keep him. I think it's going to come out that Jerry wanted to keep Jason Garrett and he was pressured by Stephen Jones or whoever to let him go. But the one thing I will say about Mike McCarthy, and I do think this is kind of strange, is his reputation has gone to shit, as if he's never accomplished anything because his relationship with Aaron Rodgers deteriorated. Aaron Rodgers, quarterbacks get a lot of credit, but sometimes it's almost like, can you just calm down a little bit? They only play one side of the ball. You have to give the coach a significant amount of credit if you win a Super Bowl. He was a Super Bowl winning coach. There's not a lot of them out there available and ready to go coach a team. So isn't this a good situation for the Cowboys?
It is and it isn't. I mean, if you think about the career of Mike McCarthy, that's one strong reason to hire him. I mean, let's be honest, you always want to hire someone that has already done it. So, I mean, they kept him around for a reason, I felt like. And they had hope within. After the Super Bowl, they had hope inside of him. So I feel like he's got the career and the knowledge of the X's and O's. The one part I question is Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy, 2 alphas, right? And I feel like, Jerry, as we all know, runs that team.
Right.
He's going to be making the executive decisions, especially when it comes to personnel. Maybe I'm just talking, out of my ass. Maybe I don't know, because you really don't know behind closed doors what's happening. But from our experience, Jerry has ran that team, right? So do you see Mike McCarthy being a yes man? I don't know.
No.
I don't think so. I think he can help Dak in a sense, with the quarterback position, maybe balance out the run game, because they definitely need to run the ball a little bit more. So bringing in an offensive coach was definitely a great idea. But, I mean, let's be real. I mean, Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones, that's a relationship I question. But then again, you got Mike McCarthy staying at Jerry's house. So maybe they're gaining some good relationship bonds and things.
That's kind of weird to me. I don't know why we're just like glossing over that. But I mean, I don't know. I guess rich people do that. I'm
sure there's houses within a big mansion
yeah, I'm
or
sure
something.
He's got a guest house,
space.
But it's like, do you say no? Like if you're there at the house interviewing with Jerry, he's like, oh, you got to stay in the guest house. It's fabulous. Like, no,
you got your
I'm
own
good.
cottage
like,
back there. You're good.
You're kind of like you're there interviewing for the job. I guess you got to stay.
Yeah.
Now, an organization that probably needs a lot of hands on it is the Browns. Because I'm silly and impressionable, picked them to be in the wild card weekends before the season because I fell for it because I'm a sucker, and which is really stupid because I'm from Pittsburgh, so I shouldn't pay the Browns any mind. But they're a disaster this year. It was an absolute dumpster fire. What do you think the Browns need to do to fix the whole organization, not just Baker Mayfield and what's going on the field?
Discipline. Just one thing is discipline. I mean, that team had all the pieces of the puzzle. And let's be honest, Kitchens going into his first year as a head coach, I was a fan of him because he did turn things around last year. And I thought they were going to maybe stick with Greg Williams as the head coach because he does have that head coach also discipline within him.
Right.
And Kitchens, he did a great job with the offensive side of the ball. I think last year him and Baker meshed well. Going into it, I think they fed into the hype. And they lost focus on what really was. And Baltimore just kind of sat back and just let Cleveland do all the attention. Baker was talking about Super Bowl. Baltimore didn't even say one thing about anything. And they knew Lamar Jackson. We all knew Lamar Jackson had a potential. We didn't realize how great he was going to be.
Right.
But, I mean, when you feed into the hype like that, especially at the NFL level, you lose focus. And then after that incident with Pittsburgh with Myles Garrett and Rudolph,
yeah.
I mean, what does Kitchens do? He creates more tension, creates more fuel to the fire by wearing that T-shirt. As a head coach, your main job is to keep your players focused, right? I mean, cancel out all the noise. That's why Belichick is a great head coach, because he cancels out all the noise, forgets all the BS, and just focuses on what is needed, which is the next thing. We're on to Cincinnati, right? We're on to whoever. So I think Kitchens, he'll be back. I feel like he'll be back because this was a great learning experience for him. He's going to definitely be back on a coaching staff this year. But as a head coach, you got to take what happened this year and realize that it's all about focus and block out the noise. And if you can't get control of that team, which is a young team and with talent, then that's what's going to happen. OBJ and Baker ran that show over down there. So
I agree with you. Like it's a discipline situation, which is why I thought Mike McCarthy would be the perfect hire for them. Obviously, the Browns are not pulling Mike McCarthy away from the Cowboys if that was the situation. So it really didn't matter. Now moving forward, I don't know who can come in and do that. Like it's Josh McDaniels' name keeps getting dropped there.
I mean, I would hate to lose Coach Salah, but I mean, he would be a great guy for the job.
Do
I
you
feel like
think
because
so obviously I'm a big fan of Coach Salah. But do you think that he is because he's a very fiery guy?
Oh, I love that. I mean, that's what you need. I just feel like that energy and that discipline meshed up together with Baker's determination too, he can straighten out Baker, I feel like. And he'll be the coach to be like, hey, look, if you don't do this, then we'll just sit your ass quick. I mean, I feel from seeing him.
That's his like personality then.
Yeah, no patience, I feel like.
I mean, I if that's how he is, like, but the one thing I will say in his favor is that Baker cannot no longer be the face of the franchise because clearly he's incapable of doing that.
Really?
And I say that as somebody who's a big Baker supporter. I thought he should have started from day one. Love Tyrod, but like you can't not start the number one overall pick at quarterback. Like, gotta start. It's fine. You don't sharks are born swimming. Get him out there.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Doesn't matter if he loses. He's gonna lose some games. That's gonna be all right. But so I was a big Baker supporter. But at this point, it's like, dude, you can't be yelling at fans from the stands to come down and fight you. Like, you know he can't come down and fight you. You're just being hold me back guy, and nobody likes hold me back guy. Nobody respects that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and you're the franchise quarterback. Like, I can't even imagine. I would faint if I saw Tom Brady do that. I'd be like, it's over. Like, we're done. It's done here. Like,
well,
retire.
That's what separates the average versus the greats. I mean, let's keep it real. Drew Brees or Tom Brady would never do that.
Never.
And then there was another perfect example in Week 17 when they played the Bengals. They were down, 35-17. Baker busted like an 8-yard run, got the first. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that's something to be happy about. But he acted like he won the game, forgot about the scoreboard, and forgot who he was playing against. I mean, it was just ridiculous when I saw that. And I thought that was the main reason why they're at where they're at in Week 17.
Okay,
Yeah.
so right now, we know what the next round of the playoffs are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have making it to the Super Bowl? My preseason prediction was the Cowboys. And I know.
Whoa.
Look,
I'm not even saying that from biasness either. But
In my defense, it was partly because I was kind of trying to speak it into existence because Fox has the Super Bowl this year, and I'm a company man, and a Cowboys Super Bowl is like delicious for us.
For Fox, that'd
like,
be great. Yeah.
Really good. Not that there's not some other available Super Bowls right now that are going to be great, but the Cowboys are on a whole different level, obviously, and they didn't even make the playoffs, so that's irrelevant. But I picked the Chiefs to win, and they're still alive. So right now, the teams that we have now, I know you're going to say 49ers, but if it's not the 49ers, who are you picking? Who are you picking to make the Super Bowl, at least I should say that?
Let's just keep it real. I mean, Baltimore and San Francisco, how do you go against those predictions right there?
I think listen, I'm big with you. I'm with you on the Ravens. And listen, like it probably will be the Ravens. I just think that if it's the Chiefs and Ravens, that's going to be that's an AFC Championship game right there. Like that's going to be amazing.
Minnesota, they have something to prove this year, but I'm not going to say that they have all the right pieces yet because they were so inconsistent. I mean, week 17 when they got beat by the Packers by a lot, they didn't just get beat; they got beat by a lot. And then I was kind of high on the Saints, even as a Niner fan. I thought that was going to be the team to beat in the NFC. And then the Seahawks. We can't forget the Seahawks.
Yeah, I don't think you can count the Seahawks out. It just doesn't matter.
They play the Niners. They play the Niners tough every single game. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to say this as a Niner fan. We should have had that week 1 game if we had maybe Robbie Gould, it could have been different. But at the end of the day, I mean, like Russell Wilson is just amazing. I talk smack about him, whenever I'm, talking to my friends. But let's just keep it real also. Russell Wilson is just amazing. And then Chris Carson was a big loss. The running back situation was a big loss.
I mean, they've lost everybody. But I love Marshawn Lynch being back.
Really?
Oh, I love Marshawn Lynch. I think Marshawn Lynch
He's older than my wheelchair, and my wheelchair's outdone. Come on, I mean, like
I love Marshawn Lynch. How do you not love Marshawn Lynch? He just runs right through your face. He is one of my favorite all-time NFL players. Like I've never made a list of my all-time favorite players, but Marshawn is 100% in the top 10.
He gave his heart to football. I'll be honest, like his heart and dedication, and when he was doing that Super Bowl pre-interviews, I'm just here to not get fined.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, it's real. He doesn't want to buy into all the superficial crap. He just wants to play football. That's the part I admire about Marshawn Lynch. But then there was moments where like he would get a little over his head a little bit, and he wasn't the best running back the last 2 years.
Well, no, but like he wasn't even playing.
The last 2 years of his career, I meant like 15, 16.
Okay.
So dating back to when he was with the Seahawks.
When he was
still. And with the Raiders too. Everybody was high on him going to the Raiders, right?
That's because everybody loves Marshawn.
Exactly.
Like, that's what it is. It doesn't matter.
That's my point.
But look, this is the thing though.
What's that?
In these moments, like this is what you need. That moment where there's
on the 1 yard line?
Yes, just run straight through your face. Like you're just gonna run straight through your face. There's no finesse. There's no no moves. Like it's just like I'm running over you.
If you keep
him
if you keep him as a touchdown vulture, then yes, maybe running him within the 5 yard line.
Though, like there's not everybody can do that.
Well, that's one of the reasons why they don't have a Super Bowl. So I mean, they threw the ball over the middle. So
that wasn't his choice.
No, not him. I think Carroll has done a great job, but then again, you got to fault him for not only the call in the Super Bowl, but look what happened against the Niners. I mean, they had a delay of game, I think.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a meltdown. But I mean, look, like you can't really. That was an incredible game, and like they were right there. They were inches, like game of inches.
Oh, I loved it. The stuff. Oh, that was awesome.
I do. I'm not
the
gonna
shoulder
lie.
forearm.
I'm not gonna lie. I love a good goal line stop. Like the Saints did that twice.
I mean, every
maybe
football
three
fan's
times
gotta love
yesterday.
that. Yeah.
Like I love that. It's so tense. And it's like it is great. Like I will give you that. But okay, so who is it? So it's Niners, Ravens.
I think Seattle's going to play Green Bay tough, but because of the weather and Green Bay's home field advantage, I think Green Bay will steal that game.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm going to take the spread.
+4 Seattle?
Yeah.
I think I would too, actually. I might buy a point on that or 2 points or something. But
yeah, I think I'm going to take the spread, but because they're an incredible road team.
Yeah.
But Green Bay's an incredible home team.
It'll be between 3 and 6 points, I think, the difference right there. But
all right, so you think Seattle loses to Green Bay.
Yep.
So it's Green Bay and the
obviously
Niners.
Everybody knows my pick on the Niner game.
Niners beat Green Bay. Ravens, Chiefs. Ravens move on.
Green Bay comes to Santa Clara. Sorry, Packer friends, because they treated me so greatly over there. I love that organization a lot. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if I wasn't a Niner fan from day one, I'd be pulling for the Packers. And Coach LaFleur is an amazing guy.
Yeah.
Just getting to know him a little bit at the practice field and what they did for me, that organization is amazing. but I'm gonna have to just keep my football side a little bit and also my loyalty, the faithful.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to choose the Niners on that game, but it's gonna be intense. I think I don't want to overlook this game. So I hate to talk about that game going forward, but if we're gonna go forward in this podcast, I think the Niners should be able to take care of Green Bay, especially what happened on that Sunday night game. I mean, Green Bay came over here and didn't even keep it a game. They were done.
Okay, so we got to talk about all the games before we let you go then. So since we've skipped over the Texans and Chiefs, that's a lot. They're getting 9.5 points. The last time the Texans played the Chiefs, it was a shootout and they won in Kansas City, right? Yeah. 9.5 points is a lot. Now, listen, I think the Chiefs are rolling and Patrick Mahomes was a little banged up in that game.
Thank you. I think that game was like in early November,
It was. I know. And Patrick Mahomes wasn't 100%. But you don't think 9.5 points is a lot of points? Like, it's Deshaun Watson. Like,
it is. So
they do start slow is the only thing. The Texans start so slow.
Yeah.
So, and DeAndre Hopkins is like 30th or something in receiving yards in the first half, and then like second in the second half. So once he gets going, he's great. Obviously, he's one of the best in the league. But I don't know. I don't think I could do 9.5 points.
9.5 is a lot, and I'm banking on that half point being the make or break deal. I feel like that's a good number to put the game at. But I'm totally with you. I mean, especially at this time of year, everybody is so competitive.
Right.
So to put anything over like a 6-point spread, that's difficult to overcome.
It's supposed to snow this weekend in Kansas City.
How was the weather? I was just going to ask you that because I don't remember watching that game.
So it's supposed to snow on Saturday. No, for this weekend when the Texans and the Chiefs play in Kansas City, it's supposed to snow and it's going to be like 30 degrees.
But I don't remember the game on the 10th
Oh,
of
yeah,
November.
I'm sure it was fine. Like it was clear.
It was nice and clear where Deshaun Watson felt like he was indoors in Houston and things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure the weather was fine. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just don't see a Chiefs blowout. I think the Chiefs are going to win.
You know how we always get surprised with our picks. I'm totally on with you about the plus 9.5, but I have a feeling something unexpectedly, just like this last weekend, is going to happen, and KC's out to prove themselves. Yeah. I mean, they know that they need to prove themselves with a big game this week to go into Baltimore next week. So they're not only looking to win the game. I think they're really looking to dominate this week. And Andy Reid is on that momentum hype where he feels good, confident. You got Mahomes healthy, and Kelsey usually shines in the playoffs or usually shines this time of year.
Yeah, he's a big time player.
So I like that. I like the minus 9.5 KC if I were to kind of put money on it. But the argument against it is totally understandable, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I also just think like I don't know. I just don't know because it's kind of like an emotional win for the Texans last week too. Yeah. So and then Baltimore, like I mean, come on. I think I'm taking Baltimore with the points.
What is that, 9.5 too?
Yeah, I just I mean, like great win Titans. Thank you for shutting down the Patriots, but I don't know about all that.
Careful for sleeper Tannehill. I mean, he's the resurrection.
I know because I'm taking underdogs except for that, but I'm just thinking all the favorites are going to win. Well, thanks so much for coming up and talking some football with us. Again, you can check Rob out at Coach Rob Mendez on Twitter and Instagram. Great follow on both.
Yes,
and we'd love to have you in again if you're back in LA sometime.
I hope to see you in Miami maybe.
Yes, we are definitely going to link in Miami. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be crazy, but just stay on the beach.
Joy, this was awesome. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate
all the way
it.
over there.
Yes.
Come back up again soon, and we appreciate you.
All right, thanks.